An NBA champion, Caron Butler. We got Brez, we got Allie. We don't have Mike Trudell. Congratulations to Mike Trudell and his wife Annie. Their little baby boy Riggs, just born on yesterday. Guys, the big news, it's here. The Lakers, for the first time in 7 years, will be playing in the playoffs starting next week. Big game, James. You and I have joked about this often on this set. We've been together. This is our 8th season. It's been a long time coming. And it's nice to have games with real meaning coming up. There's nothing like the NBA playoffs. I know it's a bummer that I won't be here in LA, played at Staples, and all the fanfare that comes with that, us being down at Staples. But, man, it's going to be a good feeling.
Yeah, despite, everything that's happened the last 5 months and the fact that we won't be able to, give our fans what they've been waiting for. And that's, to me, that's really the saddest thing, is that our fans have been waiting for this moment, and they won't get to, be in the meat of the bowl, if you will, and give their support. But nevertheless, these are serious games. I think fans are slowly but gradually getting used to watching these games in the bubble. Mm-hmm. They will get a little bit more intense as the play, comes up in the next week or so. So I think it's going to be fantastic. I think the fans are going to love it despite not being able to be there. But this is what we've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, and I think, get to the point of now you're back to playoff basketball where competition is going to be heightened, it's going to be amplified. And I think that from a matchup standpoint, me personally, I think the 8th seed is going to be the Portland Trail Blazers. Mm-hmm. So that's going to add a little extra incentive on to that as well.
What is the mentality of an NBA guy going into the playoffs? Guys that have been there before, guys that have never been there before. Those couple of days leading up to that, James, what's it like?
Well, you tell yourself everything that we just said. It's finally here. And, if it were a normal regular season, you tell yourself, I don't have to travel as much. I don't have to remember 3 or 4 scouting reports a week. I get to focus on 1 or 2 players in a 7-game series, and that's where it starts right there. That's when the numbers need to go up. You watching video, you got time, you rest up, and the last thing you do is you put that gladiator gear on because you want to be the last one standing.
Yeah.
It's a killer instinct you got to have, and that's got to build each quarter, and you got to have it. It's mind over matter, because after the second or third game, they're going to get used to what you're running, and then it just becomes who wants it.
Do you miss it, Caron?
Oh, absolutely. It's a new season. It really is. It's a new season. It's 0-0 for everyone, and I think it's a fresh start where you get an opportunity to really, compete for the ultimate goal and hoisting up that trophy. So it's a great feeling.
All right, the Lakers did play today. They actually played the Sacramento Kings. They lost. LeBron played about 14, 15 minutes. Let's get you to the highlights. We'll take you out to the bubble. Lakers wrap up their regular season. First quarter, THT gets his first NBA start. Great assist from LeBron. The rookie has all day to knock down the 3, and he does just that. Markieff Morris. James picked him on take your shot, and it paid off. 3-ball rolling for the purple and gold, James.
Yeah, Morris hadn't played a whole lot, but remember how vital he'll be with his experience in the playoffs.
LeBron likes contact, throws it up the left. He'd make the free throw. 4-point lead. Lakers not paying attention here. Bogdanovich steals from LBJ. He's going coast to coast layup. Kings only trail by 1. Lakers call a timeout. Bogdanovich, he's had a good bubble showing. He can shoot it. He has the last 9 points for Sacramento. Danny Green. Definitely going to want to see that next week. Shot fake, gets to a new spot, hits it, 21-19. 5 for 10 from 3 so far, Caron.
Excellent job of knocking down shots. You see Cook with the pass to LeBron. No hesitation on his part. Follow through. Perfect.
Harry Giles, it's a loose ball. He's athletic. Morris and JaVale both say not worth it on a day like today.
Yeah, man. He's pulling up Statue of Liberty. He's not even in New York.
Giles' bags are packed. He's already on a plane. You can have that one, young man. Quinn Cook. You get 3. You get a 3. We all get a 3. Everybody's getting one. Looks like Dion Waiters 26-footer. Big game. J.R. Smith. First three in the NBA restart. His first three in a long time.
Guy's got some history, got some mileage, knows how to play in the playoffs.
LeBron hits him with a fadeaway.
That looked familiar.
Bielitsa blocks Dwight. Buddy's just going to pull up.
Jeez.
Cuts the deficit to only 3.
Used to be a time coach take you out of the game for taking a shot like that.
Not anymore, huh?
That's routine now.
Layup.
LeBron answers back. His second 3 of the day. Jabari Parker. Where'd he go to school, James?
I don't know.
Tied up at 50.
Dude, we're in St. Louis, I think.
LeBron rebound. Coast to coast. Caron, this will be the end of LeBron's day.
Where he go to school at? School of I'm different.
School of hard knocks.
Everyone needs a buddy like Buddy. There he is. Lead is 9 for Sacramento. Markieff into the lane, he scores. JaVale, rebound. Jump hook. Lakers trail 66-56 going into halftime. 2 more quarters. You're not playing.
Is that peanut butter and honey sandwich?
Stay healthy.
Nobody's take off the edges of my bread.
Morris, another one. That's his 4th one, James.
We're still talking about that peanut butter
Yeah,
sandwich.
you are. I know. It's tough not to. James is
Take the
hungry.
edges off. Karan say take the edges off.
Yeah, man.
Make a soft sandwich.
JR, a little floater. LeBron's still crushing a PB&J.
You could tell that we're not really interested in the highlights yet, Gita, right?
Not one bit. How much of this game did you see, you think?
For all of it. Meaningless game.
Man.
Good for some guys to get some run. Look at this pass, Gita.
Oh! No, he didn't.
Tell you what, this game matters to THT, doesn't it, Karan?
That's
Yeah,
better luck
man.
women right there.
And look at
Nice
JaVale
dime.
McGee, though. Wrap around.
Listen, THT, this is like the Super Bowl.
That man get a start,
Got
too.
a start?
Yeah, that's huge.
Dion
Isomatic.
tuning up.
Look at the find.
Oh, look at Duds dropping dimes. Costas. Antetokounmpo. THT.
Stick it.
Does he have hops?
Oh, yeah.
Take it again.
And this kid gonna find himself in rotation.
Think so? Next season? Devontae Haycock. Summer League star. G League star. Getting it done. What did THT do today? 14? 6-15. Played 34 minutes. 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Got to be
the
proud
move,
of him.
though. Look, the confidence.
In traffic.
Shot taker, shot maker.
Yeah, I like him. Oh, a little alley-oop. That's a nice little catch and finish. Justin James. Producer really enjoyed his name. There's Kuz and Luke. Kuz is first coach in the NBA. Luke Theodore Walton won 2 titles with the Lakers. 136-122. Sacramento ends their season 30-41. They are heading home. Buddy Hield, 28 points, 8 threes. Bogdanovich, 27, 11-23. Dion Waiters with 19, LeBron 17, Markieff Morris 14. Let's talk LeBron James, guys. Before we get to the playoffs, for the first time in his career, year 17, age 35, he leads the league in assists at 10.3 per game. The list of guys that have done that at 35 years of age is an impressive list. Steve Nash is on that list. Now LeBron James is on that list. Pretty impressive. 10.2 assists. They said it in my ear 19 times just to make sure I knew, guys. 10.2, not 10.3. So the first career season leading league in assists for LeBron. James, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's more than cool. That's That's like putting a nice, smooth, polished shine on your shoes with leading an assist at 35 years old. You just don't, Steve Nash was an exception. I thought it'd be like a couple more players up there, but he's the only other player up there. So LeBron being able to do what he does as far as scoring points and climbing that ladder, and then, to be able to contribute to basketball at 35 is something you do in your 20s. You get 35, you're not, because it takes a lot to drop dimes, too. A lot of people think it's just actually passing. No, it's a lot of setting up players. It's a lot of understanding players' tendencies. It's not easy to get 10 dimes a game. So for him to be able to do that at 35, that's an exceptional skill. Yeah.
I totally agree with Big Game. Your playmaking ability at that age to still be able to set people up and put them in position to be a better version of them out there on the basketball court, like that is amazing still to be doing it at this pace.
This is also one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Hands down.
That is third all time in scoring. That's behind Karl Malone and Kareem, past Kobe this year. Like, this is, he's not a guy and he still gets 9 assists a game, 8 assists a game, and then this year he goes over 10. It's really impressive.
Yeah, and that's the aspect of his game a lot of people don't talk about a lot. He's so unselfish to a fault at times. And he's been, criticized for it.
Yeah.
And to still being able to score and be efficient, shooting over 50% for his career, just amazing to watch.
It's crazy because when you think of the great scorers, Kareem, the dominant Scott Hook.
Yeah.
Karl Malone, you knew when he put up
Mid-range.
big numbers.
Yeah.
It was obvious during the game he's putting up big numbers. LeBron, he'll drop 14 assists, 12 rebounds, then it'll be like 28 points on a regular basis. That's the problem. He does it so regularly that we don't even think about it. He drops 30, 15, 12 all the time. And it's not always like dominant like Michael Jordan's numbers or Kobe's, but he's getting them. He's getting to the line, and he does it he just makes it look so easy that sometimes you forget he's doing it.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most remarkable things about watching him these last couple of years. Games where you don't even think he plays that well for him. Maybe he wasn't as physical, he wasn't attacking. You'll look after the game and you'll see 24, 8, and 9.
Yes.
That is a career game for a lot of guys.
Across the board. He's doing pretty much everything.
All right, let's go back to Orlando. J.R. Smith is speaking with Allie Clifton in the media.
So how would you summarize this restart for yourself, personally, both ends of the floor, and where you feel like you are now, given with the playoffs on the other side?
Well, first of all, I appreciate it. I would like to, start off by saying that we should arrest the cops that did what they did to Breonna Taylor and her family. There's a lot of situations going on that we need to fix before, we just keep continuously talking about basketball. But on the lighter side, it just feels good to be back out here with my teammates. It feels good to be out here or in the atmosphere that I'm accustomed to. I've been around this game as a professional 16 years now, and it's my life. It's what I know, so I do best. Trying to navigate and figure out what you want to do off the court is tough. So I'm just happy to be around an environment, be around with a great group of guys.
And you and the Lakers, of course, are diving headfirst now into the playoffs. Obviously, you do not know that opponent just yet, but what is the process for you going to be like over the next several days as you prepare and gear up to be locked in as much as possible come game one?
It's kind of, it's different. It's different, but it's the same for me because I've been away for the game for a year and a half. And, the last full season, I was away, or the last few full seasons I was away. We were the number 1 team in the East, and the 8th spot and stuff like that. So it's just you try not to get too caught up in watching the games and listening to people. Type of match. Just lock in and focus on yourself and see where you can get better. And just keep taking it with a stride.
Hey, JR, it's Dave. From the past runs you had with LeBron in Cleveland, deep playoff runs, and he would gift you guys presents, and you guys do Versa Climate challenges and dinners on the road. Can you do any of those things down in Orlando? And will you try to, encourage some of those team activities?
Yeah, we do a lot together, obviously. So it's kind of it's kind of different because you're in a situation to where you spend so much time with players and stuff like that. I mean, to go out to eat and stuff like that is kind of routine. So he of course, he's still gifting the guy stuff. He's a guy who has a lot of, he knows a lot of people and a lot of people with good resources. So he definitely uses those, exercises those, and helps his teammates and organization out for sure.
Great to see J.R. Smith getting time. He had 25 minutes, had 11 points, much more ahead. Lakers lose to the Kings, last game of the regular season.
Tucker was like, what? That was a sweet pass right there. Even Plumlee was like, what the hell is he doing? Metal Lock Lemon in the post, getting it done. McGee with the nice dime.
Got
Tucker
eyes
with
in
the
the back of his head, OG.
You know what's crazy on Twitter, before we get to Vogel here, is all the fans talking about getting to the playoffs. And people are like, the last time they were in the playoffs, I was 9. The last time I mean, you forget that fans are now, now they're in their early 20s. But that's a lot of these kids, young Laker fans, they haven't even experienced what we became accustomed to.
In this city, since I arrived, there's been the biggest part of the year is the Laker playoffs. From the Forum,
every year,
the Staples Center, to Big Shot Rob Shot, to to Tough Juice in Staples Center, it didn't matter, and people have looked forward to that historically. Ever since Chick Hearn came here in 1961, it's been a big part, and not to have that, you're taking away a big piece of their lives. So I'm glad it's back. Unfortunately, it's not going to be in the Staples Center, but still going to be great.
Twitter will be alive. I can promise you that. Let's hear from Lakers head coach Frank Vogel. He's speaking with Allie and the media via Zoom.
As you look to find that balance with rhythm and flow with some of your guys today, and then, of course, the experimentation, as you mentioned, in the pregame with those off the bench, despite the loss, how would you feel, or how would you assess, rather, what you guys were able to accomplish today?
Well, I wasn't really happy with how we played overall. I think our guys are ready to get into that playoff environment. But, there was plenty of positives. It was good to see Taylor Horton Tucker play big minutes. Marquise Morris got going a little bit. Deion, JR to get a little more comfortable. So, LeBron was able to get in and get a little bit of rhythm so he doesn't have such a long layoff between games. So there was plenty of positives from today. But we certainly need to play better than we did today.
You obviously mentioned before the game that you wanted Markieff to get some more minutes, 14 points, 12 of which came from deep. What did he show you, if anything, that you needed to see?
Well, he's a beast, and he's someone that's going to help us in the playoffs. And, I think with him joining our team late in the restart, he's been behind the 8 ball a little bit with his legs and conditioning and us trying to find him opportunities to get in rhythm. And, I think it's been a slow, steady buildup from the time he joined us until this point today. And it's continuing to grow, and I feel good about what he can bring to our team in the playoffs.
Hey, Frank, it's Dave. How will you manage the next 4 days leading up to Game 1? Do you give your guys a day off or 2 in there? Do you have team dinners? Do you have scrimmages? Do you team outings? Like, how are you going to manage it?
All of the above. We'll manage rest with practice. We'll probably have 2 good practices, a full off day, and sort of a walkthrough day, depending on the schedule. We still don't know when we're going to play Game 1, who we're going to play Game 1 or Round 1. So some of that stuff still has to play out, but it'll be something along those lines.
Allison.
Kyle. Frank, not that the regular season is an achievement that every coach wants to celebrate, but in terms, you guys started the regular season 296 days ago, had 51 first time 10 years for this organization. Do you ever think about sort of the totality of that achievement given everything that's happened?
Well, yeah, it's been we've been through a lot this year, but really all of it is just a build up to us. Whether we finish 1, 2, 3. It doesn't really matter. It just matters, what we've been able to build from a habit standpoint, the performance standpoint, going into the playoffs. So we're here, we're excited about it, and confident in what we can accomplish.
Tanisha, anyone else on your end? Yes, I do have a couple people on my end. Let's go, Melissa.
Hey, Frank, playing off of what Kyle just asked, If you could have, at the beginning of the season, seen everything that happened, would you have believed just sort of the wild ride that this season took? And how would you just sort of describe it in its totality?
Yeah, it's been obviously, no one could have foreseen the way this year was going to play out. It's been full of challenges, but adversity strengthens you. It gives an opportunity for your group to come together. I feel like our group is very tied together and confident in what we can accomplish, and hopefully, we can persevere through all that stuff and go on a heck of a run here.
How about this? Best Lakers seasons since 2000-2001. It's the second best. Remember that 08-09 team that beat Orlando in the finals? Kobe and Powell, Lamar, the crew. They had a 793 win percentage. The Lakers this year, 52-19, 732. 17 times, James, the Lakers have had a plus 700 winning percentage. 10 of those times they've won a title. Pretty cool stat.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to really Dr. Buss and the early management of creating a formula of how to win and when to bring in the right players that mix in with what they already have. They've had that formula. It's not by accident that they've won championships, and it continues. The Jenny Buss with Rob and the new group, they know what we've done historically, and so they have a good playbook of bringing together players and signing big players, Kareem, Shaq, bringing in Magic, players like that. So I give them the credit for knowing how to do this.
Yeah, I think they did a remarkable job at, rebuilding on the fly, and they landed a whale of a talent in LeBron James. Now you got Anthony Davis. He was able to retain Kyle Kuzma and get the necessary components around those guys to assist. And now you back in front, #1 seed in the Western Conference and ready to compete for a title.
Pretty awesome. Quinn Cook scored a dozen points against the Kings. He's speaking with Brez in the media.
Hey, Quinn, congrats on surviving the seeding round. How are you feeling as a team going into the playoffs next week?
I'm excited. Obviously, good to be back playing and using these, 11 games, 8 regular season games, and 3 scrimmages to get ready for this moment. And for us to clinch #1 means a lot to us, the organization and the entire Laker Nation. So now it's time to use what we've learned and everything that we built this year for this moment. And we don't know who we play yet, but we're excited to get it going and start preparing.
And a few people have kind of said, the Lakers' outside shooting wasn't good for the first handful of games, but the last 3, you guys have kind of stepped up behind the arc. Do you feel like the law of averages is starting to come on your favor a little bit?
It's basketball. It's basketball. That's for every team, really. Especially our team, we have great shooters. To see the ball going in the basket is always great. But we have 2 of the best players in the world, and they always make for others. Obviously we just keep staying confident in ourselves, and the ball, always go in. Maybe it won't, but the law of averages is something that we all believe in.
You had some great playoff experience up with Golden State, played alongside some great players. How do you sense LeBron and Anthony Davis are ready with the playoffs just around the corner?
Well, I've played them in both in the playoffs, so I know, how locked in, how focused they are. Just seeing their careers, what they do in the playoffs, and obviously they've been gearing up for this point. And, just being great leaders, getting us ready as well.
Story in the tail for his career, getting the rebound, coast to coast, downhill, nobody getting in front of him. Look at Buddy. I don't want no part of that action.
Get out of the way. Remember, their bags are packed. Season's over. You don't want to get in front of
man, I don't want to get hurt going into my offseason.
Not the offseason.
Go to Cancun with a cast on your arm.
Rookie THT scored a career-high 14 points in his first start. He's now speaking with Brez and the media.
Taylor, what's it been like for you, your bubble experience? I mean, you played only 2 games with the team, the big club, last December. Now you became part of the rotation pretty much the second half of the seeding games here.
Just me being here in the bubble has been great for me, just to be able to learn from the best basketball IQs in the game, or some of them, just being able to take that in as a 19-year-old is great for me. So I've been, I'm appreciative for the moment, and, I'm just trying to stay ready.
I know you're new to the franchise and new to the NBA, but do you sense guys like LeBron and Anthony Davis starting to get a little more serious now that playoffs are right around the corner?
Yeah, just being around them, seeing their mindset, shift that it takes to, go into winning a championship. So being able to see that in my first year has been great for me.
All right, Bill. Hey, Taylor, it's Bill Oram with The Athletic. I'm wondering, given most of your first year experience was being back and forth between the G League and obviously the Lakers, how different has it been for you to have kind of that daily exposure to the Lakers coaching and the veterans around you, as opposed to the rest of your first year?
I feel like other rookies don't really have that opportunity, being around those guys like AD and Bron. So, I just try to make the most of it, just being around them, trying to take in as much, be a sponge, and just listen to everybody around, because everybody here is here for a reason. So I trust in my teammates and try to just listen to them.
All right, questions on site?
No one's on site.
Okay. Anyone else on Zoom? We'll go back to Mike.
Yeah, Taylor.
It's
like, who are some of the vets, some of the guys on the team that you really go to, that you listen to for advice and that type of thing?
I kind of look through anybody I could who can answer the question. I try to, just ask them. So just being able to be around them and have so many different resources to go to has been good. And not really just one person.
Is there anyone who's kind of taken you under their wing in the bubble among your teammates?
I feel like Jared Dudley has J.R. Smith. They're so much older than me, so I feel like they all kind of treat me like they all kind of bring me along. So it's been great.
All right, let's talk a little rookie THT. I know you guys were big fans of him. You got to give him a lot of credit. Got his body in shape, worked really hard. Got to give Laker management and the coaching staff credit. G League, he was great. He was able to play, be free. Came here and he made the most of his minutes.
Yeah, he did. And look, you found the diamond in the rough. And he's a guy that can score the basketball, play two sides. He can also defend. And he's one that can step up in those moments. And I'm telling you, I would not be shocked as seeing his production inside of the bubble that he's part of some type of rotation, in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a great asset to have around. Obviously you brought in Waiters. You brought in JR. You have some guys that you're thinking about playing. But if something were to not go as planned, God forbid an injury, or let's say somebody's not playing well and you need a young player that's not afraid to play and can create, and he's slicing, he's doing a lot of activity, it's great to have right now.
And I agree with you guys. I'm not ready to put him in the playoff rotation, but like you guys said, you just never know when you might need some spot minutes. But just being there, Karan, there's so much value in that. Getting these minutes in these 8 games, value in that. And you mentioned being able to play both sides of the ball. Explain how important that is in this league. A guard, long arms, so he's got that wingspan, but can defend on that perimeter. The perimeter is so tough to defend in the NBA. There's so many great guards.
Well, you think about the void that we missing, Avery Bradley.
It's huge.
He's not in the bubble. So who's next up? And no one's going to fill that void, but you have to do it by committee. Yeah. And he's a guy that possesses all those abilities. Like, he can score the basketball, he can fill that void on a defensive standpoint, and he's committed. You saw him start tonight. Excellent job of scoring points and defending. I like what I saw. When
you watch young guys defend, James, and it takes a while to become a good defender in this league, but there has to be the effort, has to be there, obviously, and obviously the IQ and all that stuff, learning how to play it helps. What are you looking for, and what did you see from him?
Well, for a young player, you hit it right on the nose. You're looking for effort, effort plays. It takes a little time to understand defensive concepts in the NBA. You got Damon one night, you got Steph the next night, running different plays. Yeah. It takes a while to massage that, but what you do get, what makes up for those lack of experience is the effort. Yeah. He knows how to play defense, long arms, quick. He's tenacious. He's never going to, give you a spectator's point of view on defense. So sometimes just being a little mosquito, just a little net, that's all you need. Yeah. Effort, and then he gives you that.
So many times with kids in every sport, you're looking at their feet. Do you watch his feet and see if he's got that lateral movement, able to stay in front of guys? Absolutely. Hard to stay in front of everybody, but you know what I mean. Just
that effort and being able to kind of catch their first and secondary moves, because in the end of the day, the NBA is so full of talented players. No one's going to stop no one on an individual basis, but just to be able to kind of make guys work a little harder, you see that, and he possessed that skill.
Yeah, everyone's going to get cooked in the NBA.
Yeah.
Just know that.
You're going to get your
But you
fair
gotta make
share.
it hard.
Just make it hard for guys.
You ready for some Access 360?
Yeah, let's
We're
get
going to
to
talk
it.
about the 3-ball, which is going to be important. It's just the way it is here in the NBA, and the Lakers were dead last. But the last 3 games, you saw some improvement. 12, then 14, then 15 made. Last 3 games.
And look, most of these threes going to come from seeing these guys knocking down shots in the first half. You might see one possession in the second, but I think it started with LeBron James. Him participating in the first half of play, the attention that he draws. You see 1, 2 Sacramento King players, and Morris just stepping right into that shot. He's going to get a ton of opportunities like that throughout the course of this postseason. See J.R. Smith, another guy that can push the ball up court. Dudley knows his role, and I love the fact that he's spacing out, which gives Cook an opportunity to step right in for a comfortable 3-point shot without anyone within 3 feet of him. And then look at the slip out by Dudley. He's searching for airspace, and he definitely found it right there. Waiters with the excellent pass, bounce pass right in stride. Dudley put both hands up. I don't know if it was a field goal or a 3, but an excellent job with the celebration.
Did you see enough in the last 3 games, James, to think, okay, they've righted the ship a little bit. They're going to be fine shooting from distance come playoff time?
Yeah, here's what I saw in the last few games. In March, they were on fire, one of the best teams in the league. Took a big jolt. That time off can hurt you a little bit. But what I've seen in guys like, LeBron, and for sure, but you see Cook. You see guys like Tucker getting some run, Mars coming in. They're finally catching up. Kuz is playing well. So, yes, I've seen enough in the last 3 games as far as the effort and how they're starting to get threes by going in the post, making the defense collapse, then getting it out, making it a little bit easier for Green and Pope and those guys to have good shots. So I've seen enough. Still got something to work on, but I've seen some improvement.
I want to talk Anthony Davis, guys, and I want to show you what he's done in the playoffs, because he's been there before. 13 games. It's not a huge sample size, but he's been there in a few different series. He won a series against the Trailblazers. You all remember that, when the Pelicans with Rondo and Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis swept Portland. But he's averaged 30.5, 53%. He's averaged just close to 13 rebounds and 2.5 blocks. You take those numbers all day long, by the way. But here's the thing. Every player in this league, great player, when they come out of college after 1 year, it's that 26, 27 years old. You've been in the league 6, 7, 8 years. We've seen it with so many greats. Then it's your time. You've seen so many guys take that next step. Is that what you have to see from Anthony Davis for this Laker team to win a championship?
You have to see it. And I think he knows that. And I don't want to dismiss anything that he did in New Orleans, his playoff experience there. But for a lot of people watching him right now, this is the first playoff for him.
Yeah.
With LeBron, with a team that you now are expected to win. So now we need to see the AD, the dominator, not someone who's not expected to win, not expected to advance. It's easy to play and dominate in those games. You're under the microscope now with another great player, and he's yet to kind of, he had that 142-point game, but he's still got a lot to think about going forward, because the way they're going to come in him, the way Toronto did, they're starting to scout him now. So I think his challenge is probably going to be maybe bigger than anybody in the playoffs this season.
I think James hit it on the head, the Hall of Famer, when he said expected to win. That was never the case when he was in New Orleans. That's a different kind of pressure on your back, little weight. How do you know a guy's ready for it?
Well, his percentage and his player usage was just totally different, in New Orleans. Now it's all purpose. It's all-purpose possessions, all-purpose points, all-purpose buckets. And now, playing alongside the greatest player on the planet, in LeBron James, you're going to expect to deliver in a major capacity, in a major way, night in and night out. And let's face it, like Big Game touched on, a lot of people, even though he had a few times where he went to the playoffs in New Orleans, this is his first big time on a big stage where he have a realistic shot at winning the championship.
Every year, do you see a guy where you where you watch, whether when you played or when you're being an analyst, or were you just at home watching playoff basketball, missing it because you're not in the league anymore? You talked about it earlier. Is there times when you just look at a guy around that age, you go, oh, it's his time?
Yeah, I watch guys like him. I'm looking forward to seeing Donovan Mitchell, where the verdict is out. Where can he be that lead guy in that role? There's a couple of guys that I'm looking
Tatum
out.
for Boston, we saw his first year, what he did.
Siakam up in Toronto, guys like that.
Yeah, he's definitely doing
Siakam's
it.
a great call, James. We saw it last year in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, Texan, wait.
No, he can do it.
You know, people that didn't follow Toronto.
He can deliver.
He can deliver.
And then Giannis, with the Bucks, people say, can he continue to lead the team? Can he continue to knock down outside shots and all those things? So it's a lot of guys that you got your eye on, but Anthony Davis is definitely top 2.
I always go back to these Gobert games or these Jokic games where AD, you just see the little extra from him, and the Lakers are really pushing him. I just feel, James, when he's having those type of games, and what I mean those type of games, where he's getting to the line 10 to 12 times, so he's getting 10 to 12 easy points, and then he hits a couple of threes. When you see that from him, that entire package, that's the AD you hope to see. That guy gives you 30 every night.
Yeah. Yeah, the AD,
that game.
The AD who gets up for big defensive players, Gobert and the like, is the same AD that has to punish the Houston Rockets when they try to go small on him. He's got to recognize that, okay, now I'm down here, and I'm going to punish some people. He's got to be that guy, and he's getting there. He's yet to recognize that yet, but I think with LeBron leadership, I think he can get there.
Before we go to break, quickly, because James mentioned this before, teams will frustrate you in the playoffs. It's 7 games. They will double you. They will do what Toronto did to him, and it can get you out of your game. How do you combat that?
I think that with AD specifically, he has to dictate how the game will be played, offensively and defensively, and he's more than capable of doing that.
All right, great stuff, guys. More to come on Access. LeBron played just one half, enjoying his post-game meal on the bench. Big game. We were a little jealous of that, weren't we? A little peanut butter.
Yeah, man, that's a good sandwich, man. We had to check to see what was in there, though. It's all good. A little energy after the game.
Cut the edges.
You go crust off?
Yeah,
Big game.
Oh! That's right.
Oh, is that Larry Legend?
Where's the blood?
Oh! And they got Larry in a little Wagner jersey, man.
That's 2 things that would never happen.
Look at me blowing up.
Oh, big game.
Big game in green and Larry in the red and white. Ooh, ugh. Both of those colors look ugly.
They were.
I'm okay with it. My high school colors we were the green wave, whatever that is.
Yeah. Wow, look at big game. I feel like that's not the first time he did that.
Big game, he didn't want them problems.
Larry didn't want none of this. Never guarded me, Brez. He knew
You hear
better.
that, Brez? Karan, I want you to look at the ranks on the right. They're highlighted.
Jeez.
Andrew, our graphics producer. Playoff king. Minutes, points, field goals made, free throws made, steals. What does that rank? All of them.
1.
What are Laker fans in for? First time watching LeBron in a Laker uniform in the playoffs.
And we'll be watching greatness.
Yeah.
And, as he continues to move up every ladder from a stat standpoint possible, I just think that we're going to continue to watch greatness. And his leadership has been, pretty much second to none. Talk about the elite players that played in this game. He's going to put that on full display during this postseason run. And that's why we have a realistic shot at winning the championship.
Yeah, first in all those categories equals first in all the money as well. Dude is getting paid. And you know what?
Great point.
There's going to be a lot of big screen TVs in the backyard, social distancing. People are going to be watching this because these are the greatest athletes, in my opinion, in the world, and they're going to be, on the court. And it's going to be something that the country needs, and
no doubt
they'll be okay watching it on the big screen.
James, how many years did you play? Obviously, it was a different time. 14?
14, 16 on paper.
So LeBron's played 17.